CNN political commentators Symone Sanders and Ben Ferguson. Good to see both of you.
Good to be here.
Okay, well, just reading, the text of these back and forth tweets, it's almost laughable. It's almost embarrassing, but it's happening in real time. And then just moments ago, Adam Schiff, ranking member of the House Intel Committee, tweeted, after all the scandals involving unnecessarily expensive travel by cabinet secretaries, how much taxpayer money was wasted on this stunt, meaning the vice president going to the Indianapolis game and then sending out a tweet and making a statement about those who were kneeling. So, Ben, where are you on what now appear to be the priorities of messaging today?
Yeah, I think it's a cheap shot, and it's one of those cheap shots in politics. The tweet that you just have up on the screen there of attacking the vice president. I've never attacked vice presidents. Yeah,
well,
I've never attacked.
How about collectively all of this?
Let me say this. Calm down, relax. I know it's Sunday.
Okay.
But hold on a second. You should never tell me to calm down. I want to be very clear about how we should talk to each other. Don't ever tell me to calm down.
Okay, hold it one at a time. Ben, first.
All right, now. I've never criticized the vice president when they travel, because the fact of the matter is the vice president has to have Secret Service. He's second in command for the White House. It's very clear that they're always going to travel a lot. Joe Biden did it. First ladies even travel a lot. And I've criticized first ladies when they don't fly with their husbands because they decide to fly to Chicago for 2 hours earlier, and then the president shows up 2 hours later to the same exact city, or leaving a day or two early to go to Hawaii, which Michelle Obama did. But when
I guess the issue is, and what the inference is too from even Adam Schiff, that this was a stunt, this was a planned stunt. This is a statement coming from the White House, and then to divert from yesterday, very serious, solemn moment in Las Vegas on the way to California, but this diversion to Indianapolis just to bring up again, where the White House is on.
Yeah, going back to where you were a leader, the VP going back to where you were a leader once, and then going to a game and making it clear that you're not going to allow I guess you could say, the country, the flag, to be disrespected, and you're not going to sit there and support a league or a team that does this. That's not a stunt. That's just being a good American.
Okay, except the White House already made its position, but now it was actually going to the game and then reiterating the statement. I guess that's the issue that some are making here.
Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with reiterating a statement that is, you're not going to support a league that allows their employees to disrespect the United States of America.
So, Fred, I just want to be really clear.
Okay.
So, Fred, right, I think the cheap shot today was the President of the United States using his very expensive Twitter real estate to take cheap shots at Senator Corker. He clearly doesn't understand what needs to happen in order to get his agenda through, because he is attacking a sitting United States senator in his own party. But in terms of the NFL, for the 1,000th time this week, the players are not protesting anything. I think we should all be talking about
in terms of the flag or the national anthem, because that was
it is
the vice president is saying.
Advocacy. This is no different than folks wearing pink during breast cancer awareness during October to highlight the issue of breast cancer. Players are taking a knee to bring awareness to injustice in America, police brutality, racism, and white supremacy. But folks like the president, like the vice president, and like Ben Ferguson are using this to turn it into something that it is not. And so we should not allow folks to hijack the conversation, to hijack and co-opt the movement. Remember what this is really about.
The players hijacked this last week when they went out in bigger numbers than 2 weeks ago than ever before, not protesting police brutality, not protesting standing by Black Lives Matter. They were protesting Donald Trump. So if you're mad at anyone for hijacking it, be mad at the players who took the bait of the president and then protested him in the biggest numbers we've ever seen.
No,
if you don't like this, then
you are
yell at the players.
Here. And I think
the players have said it was a statement collectively being made about the right to protest on the field.
No, it was against Donald Trump
the right
calling them
to
out
protest on the field.
I think so. Again, I had this conversation. Nope, you hold on. I had this conversation with Ben about a Friday ago when we were on CNN, and we can have it again.
Yes.
Be clear. The NFL differentiates between policies and rules. They have a policy on what players have to do during the national anthem. They do not have a rule. A policy is encouraged. The NFL has no policy, has no rule saying that players have to stand during the national anthem.
Unlike, say, the NBA does.
Unlike, say, the NBA, because the NBA and, for instance, the WNBA, they do have that rule. So the players are well within their rights to do what they can. The President of the United States cannot tell players what to do.
Fredricka,
and part of the bottom line is, too, that this debate or discussion is being stirred up again. The White House has already made it very clear where it is on it. NFL players have already made it very clear. Why is today the day to revisit this?
Because as long as the NFL is playing, and as long as the NFL is consistently coming out there disrespecting this country, I expect the President of the United States of America to not attend an event where people are disrespecting the United States of America, those that gave the ultimate sacrifice. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat.
Fred,
you're the Vice President of the United States of America. You stand up. Hold on, let me finish. You stand up and you are one of those that's in charge in helping the military. You have a duty and obligation as the President of the United States of America to leave a situation where people are basically giving the middle finger to the men and women that have fought and protected this country.
That is a farce. That is false, and you should be ashamed.
It's not false. It's my opinion.
This lie.
Nobody's done that.
There are veterans and folks who are saying
when you
that
stay in the locker room and you don't come out for the American flag, that's exactly what you're doing.
White people do not get to tell black folks or anybody else what is an acceptable form of protest.
Not everything's about race, Simone. Not everything is about race.
Maybe not for you.
Some of it is about. Some of it is actually about.
Okay, so how about this on the issue of messaging?
It is absolutely about race.
And on the issue of messaging,
this White House is off.
On the issue of messaging coming from the White House, it is in the driver's seat today in the messaging, whether it be on the NFL or whether it be this now verbal spat between, Corker and the president. Is this a priority for today? I mean, when you've got the backdrop of this ongoing investigation of what happened 1 week ago in Las Vegas, still 80% of Puerto Rico without power. You've got the assessment of damage from Hurricane Nate. And then there is this back and forth between the president and Corker about loyalty, about campaigning, endorsing. I mean, this doesn't sound like, Ben and Symone, that this should be the priority of the White House on a day like today or a weekend like today, or leading into potential NAFTA.
Look, it shouldn't.
NAFTA activity this week.
Look, as a communications professional, as I am, this is totally off message. The president and the White House, they have the ability to literally drive the conversation on this. But today, they made decisive decisions to speak about Senator Corker, to engage in antics around the NFL and the football games, and not keep the main thing the main thing. One could argue this is a result of the White House not having any legislative wins thus far, and really kind of drowning in their own stuff. And so they think the White House, Donald Trump, and clearly some of his aides think that this NFL issue is a winning issue for them. So that's why they bring it up. They like, I don't know if they necessarily like the fact that the president is tweeting, but as long as the president is tweeting about Senator Corker or anyone else, we are not talking about the fact that the Trump administration rescinded the mandate on birth control on Friday, putting millions of women at risk. We're not talking about what's not happening in the U.S. Virgin Islands or Puerto Rico. So we have allowed them to hijack the conversation.
All right, so Ben, what does it say about productivity of this White House today?
Look, the fact is this president is going to do things different than what most people would expect him to do, which a perfect example is the back and forth with Bob Corker. Bob Corker has not helped this president very much on any issue. Bob Corker was in serious trouble in the state of Tennessee, where I do a radio show. The majority of people that I've talked to have been very upset with him. They think he's a rhino, Republican in name only, that he's been more anti-Trump than he's been about helping. He promised he was going to repeal and replace Obamacare, hasn't pushed hard on that. He's been involved in some of the most disastrous foreign policy deals that people have had a lot of problems with, and he was probably going to go down to somebody that was going to run against him.
And so this is instructive for public consumption?
Well, let me say this. The majority of Republicans that voted for Bob Corker in Tennessee are not happy with Bob Corker. That's just a fact. If he thought he could win re-election, I think he would have won for re-election. There were a lot of conservatives that were going to run against him. He was not going to get a free pass this time, and he was in significant trouble because he has been a fraud compared to what he said to the voters he was going to do.
Well, is the president
to call him out,
alienating himself or potentially further alienating himself within the GOP leadership if he's going to say these disparaging things about Bob Corker? He needs members on the Hill to get perhaps tax reform done.
Again, when Donald Trump has played, when Donald Trump has played nice on Capitol Hill, starting when he met with a lot of the leadership right after he was elected and started right after he was inaugurated in January, they've not helped him out at all in the Senate. That's just a fact. They've been fake about it. They've said, "Oh, we're going to whip votes for you, Mitch McConnell, Bob Corker. We're going to work with you on these issues." They have not helped out this president at all. So when you call him out now, I don't think there's any more damage done than when they were lying to his face saying, "We're going to help you with your agenda," and they haven't been doing it.
I think that's very disingenuous. I think the president
I'm a
has not helped
Republican.
himself.
You're a Democrat. I know what I'm talking about here about the Republican leadership.
Just because you yell about it doesn't make it more factual.
I'm a Republican. You're a Democrat.
Fred,
as
I was saying, Fred, I think it's really important to understand that Bob Corker and many of these other senators that Ben and the president seem to like attacking nowadays, they are still sitting United States senators. And these are folks that the president needs to get his agenda through. And so, if this White House thinks it's okay not to have any legislative wins up until November, and then you get and then potentially you get more members, new members, that may be a strategy.
We will leave it there.
But I don't think it's a winning strategy.
We will leave it there. All right, Symone Sanders, Ben Ferguson. All right, thank you.